This is a first edition, 6th printing Betty Crocker picture cookbook from the 1950s. This cookbook belonged to my grandmother on my father's side. It was then passed down to my mother, who then gave it to me many, many years ago. As you can see, this book is well loved, well worn. It might even have some pages missing. She's beat up. Some pages are crusty. Some pages are falling out. And I felt like the best way to preserve it was to start a new vlog series where I cook and bake through this book from cover to cover. I'm not going to follow recipes by holiday, time of year. I'm going to start with the first and end with the last over a very long series of videos covered in what I'm calling Baking Through Betty. I'm going to start with the first 2 recipes in this book. These are easy confections for the children. Elsies Nougat Bars and Wheaties Ting-a-Lings. So, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do in this recipe is melt 3 tablespoons of butter, and a half a pound of marshmallows. Yes, a half a pound of marshmallows over hot water in a double boiler type system. Now, I don't have a double boiler, so I'm makeshifting one with a pan that doesn't have any water outlets or steam outlets on the edges, and a metal bowl. It does have a rubber bottom, but it's heat safe. Now, while this is heating up, I do want to point out that I'm no perfect cook. I'm no perfect baker. My father was a chef my whole life, and he's taught me a lot of skills. And one of my best friends is a professional baker and also taught me a lot of skills when she and her husband lived with us for a while. There are going to be mistakes. There are going to be recipes that are wins. There are going to be recipes that are losses. All in all, I'm here to have fun and bake through this cookbook and hope that you enjoy this series. And while that melts, I'm gonna get our other ingredients ready for the rest of the recipe, which is going to be Kix. And this recipe calls for 4 cups. So I'm just gonna use my big glass measuring cup. And that's 4 cups of Kix right there. Into the bowl. 1/4 cup finely chopped nuts. I'm using walnuts. It's really not a lot compared to the amount of Kix. And it also calls for a half a cup of moist shredded coconut. Now before I start that, as you can see, we're getting some steam action going on here. I'm going to turn my heat down a bit so it doesn't get too crazy, and stir. Now the steam coming off of there is hot, so you might want to use an oven mitt or something of that sort to keep yourself from getting burned. So I've got my half cup of dry coconut flakes in here. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here and let it soak for a few minutes and then drain it so that they are moist. The last thing that goes in here is a half a teaspoon of salt. Back to our melting marshmallow. See? This kind of reminds me of like Rice Krispie treats. And I wonder what year Rice Krispie treats came out. I wonder if this was like Rice Krispie treats before, you know, Rice Krispie treats came into existence. Could it be the OG Crispy? So that's getting there. I'm gonna let it melt a little bit more. And as soon as that's done, we're gonna dump it into the other pot, into the Kix mixture. Now we're really starting to get there. I would call that just about done. So I'm gonna turn off the heat, and I'm gonna go drain this coconut and add nice, moist coconut to our mixture. Now I'm taking our marshmallow. I'm gonna pour that right in there. Next, fold it in. Says the recipe, fold it in. You want to do that until it's nice and even, nicely coated with the marshmallow. This could be very interesting. So our recipe asks us to use a 9x9 square pan that is buttered to put this into. I don't have a 9x9, I have an 8x8. And instead of buttering it, I'm going to put it in this wax paper lined 8x8, essentially. Because I want to be able to take it all out later so that I can cut it properly, make it easier. And sure, it'll be a little thicker, but who doesn't like it thick? I guess I could make that easier on myself and just pick up the bowl. You're all probably watching me struggle going, Joanna, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, this is real life, and it is after midnight as I do this because I work night shifts, and I slept in today because yesterday was my Friday. Today, yesterday, who knows when you work night shift? I sure don't. But this is my nighttime project because I cannot sleep yet. Also tells you to pat this down by hand with a hand-protected with wax paper to smush this down, and I'm like, why not just use the back of my spatula? Why is that not an option? Does that look even to you? It looks even to me. Next step is to get 4 ounces of sweet or semi-sweet chocolate, melt it, and spread a thin layer over it. Now I know 4 ounces is about a half a cup, but I'm gonna weigh it by weight into this half cup that I mistakenly used earlier. I'm using Ghirardelli semi-sweet chocolate chips. Okay, we're at 3.3. I'm going to upgrade my cup situation here. Oh, just over. Who cares? Who doesn't love chocolate? Let's melt this in the microwave, because yay for modern amenities. Okay, so we have our melted chocolate, and I'm just going to plait that over the top, apparently, and get every little bit out of there that I can possibly get. I want to get that spread out before it cools too much. It's asking for a thin layer. I honestly don't know how this would cover a 9x9 pan, but I guess I just should trust the process. Thin layer, thin layer. That's certainly not the prettiest looking thing in the world, but that I think is the best I can do right now without completely screwing this up. if I can be honest with you. So, into the refrigerator this goes to chill. I'm gonna chill it overnight and show you the results in the morning. Now let's reset. Okay, so for the next recipe, we're gonna do the Wheaties Ting-a-Lings, which starts with 14 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate pieces. So we're gonna move over here to another double boiler situation where we melt our chocolate. Yes, you just saw me use this for the last recipe. I did clean it, don't worry. So while we wait for that to start melting and getting going, we are going to get our Wheaties ready because we want another 4 cups. I had to ask my mom to help me find these. 4 cups of Wheaties into the bowl. Now you can add a cup of large salted peanuts with 3 cups of Wheaties instead of 4 in this recipe to make peanut ting-a-lings. That's kind of cool, but I'm not going to do that today. I want at least one nutless recipe. Now, when you're melting chocolate, you don't want to overdo it. There is a point where you can over melt, and that was hot. And it becomes a bad situation. Your chocolate won't set properly, doesn't do things the right way, and it's all around not good. And we don't want that. So we're just going to be nice to our chips here. Rotate them so we're not putting all the heat on the bottom ones the whole time. Water and steam splash happening there. I'm going to pull out my baking sheet that these are going to end up on with the waxed paper and get that ready. I did turn my heat down a bit on this so it's not so intense. I don't want it to get too crazy, like I said before. Look at that. Almost there. We still have some chocolate chips that are not quite all the way melted. And it says to cool at room temperature. I don't know how I feel about that, considering this has to be mixed in. So I'm just going to go for it, because I'm not exactly sure if they mean like to let this cool before or while it's mixing. Maybe if your parent or grandparent made this for you, you can tell me in the comments how I'm interpreting this wrong. I'm just trying to be careful not to touch the sides or back of this bowl because it's hot. Because it was just sitting in boiling water, essentially. Alright, I'll take that. And then we mix. I would say that is pretty well coated. Next step here is to drop by the tablespoon onto waxed paper. Now I have a cookie scoop I'm going to try and use for this. I understand it might not be perfect, but I'm going to try. Okay. Oh my. I really didn't want to manhandle these, but I felt like I didn't have much choice here because they're a little bit crazy, and maybe now I understand the cool at room temperature before mixing thought. I did wash my hands just now. Don't worry. Of the 2 recipes I was doing tonight, I did not think that this one was going to be the one that gave me trouble. Sometimes it's the simplest things in life that can be the most challenging. I should have just grabbed a bigger pan thing, you know, baking sheet. Okay, I grabbed a second baking sheet so we can just finish up the literally 2 left on this one. I was not kidding when I said 2 left. Of course. Come on. Just go there. Now, I have to go find a spot in the fridge for these baking sheets because I don't have anywhere. Okay, so I am going to take those out of the fridge tomorrow and we'll see how they turned out. See you in the morning. It's the next day. Let's see how they came out. I'm gonna start with these guys. Oh, yes. That came out of the pan exactly how I wanted it to, yay. All right, let's see here. Look at that. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, that's nice. The wax paper stuck to it a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. That's just, you know what? Easy. I'm glad I used wax paper for that. Okay, so the cookbook says to cut them into like 1 by 2 inch squares. I'm not good at measuring, so we're just gonna guesstimate here. I don't know if that's an inch. Probably not. Do I care? Not really. I'm gonna taste a little piece. Oh. That wasn't the texture I expected. The kicks are like squishy. Okay. Sure. Easy. I implore you to ignore that half of my kitchen. There's a reason I cook over here. Which piece should I try? I'm just gonna try this one in the back. So it's kind of falling apart a little bit. Now, I'm not a big coconut fan or nut fan when it comes to things in food, but I mean, I have a feeling marshmallow and chocolate is going to, you know, add some pizzazz. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from this, but it's like actually not bad. It's actually not bad. Cool. I brought my other taste tester out.
What?
What do you think of that? Do you like that?
Yes.
Chocolate face. Okay, now for the next one. All right, should we try the other one?
Yes.
Okay. Here's how the other ones came out. Also not bad.
What?
Here, how about I give you a small one?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thankfully, no real work with these
Small one. Small one.
coming off the plate, or coming off the, you know. Thoughts?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I like it. Easy, simple removal from the thing. Sorry for the half-naked toddler. I'm gonna have to fix that. honestly, that's a win.
You like that, Mommy?
I do. Do you like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa, there they are.
I will admit, these are a little more difficult to eat. Just because of like
Uh-oh.
the shape.
What happened?
But they're really good. Okay, that is it for the first episode of Baking Through Betty. Thank you for joining me this week. Let me know what you think of what we made. Maybe let me know if you have any stories of if your parents or grandparents made these for you. So, yeah, I'll see you again next week. Bye.